Hey, I won't waste your time. Hey, us is where we shine. Teaching Tuesday. It's more than just another day. Teaching Tuesday. Find your answers in this place. Teaching Tuesday. Teaching Tuesday.
Hey guys, I got caught slipping. Trying to forward some things out. I really hate that um StreamYard, or maybe it's a meta thing, no longer lets you um there you go. No longer just lets you stream directly into groups. It is so freaking annoying. But nevertheless, that's done. I'm live. We're all good. While I'm here, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. My name is Stephanie D. McKenzie, and I will be talking to you today in another episode of How to Tuesday. And, first of all, can I start with a commentary on black hair really quickly? And just to let you know that shrink is real. Shrink is absolutely real, because before anybody can ask, oh my God, did you cut your hair? I'm going to be like, no, no, I did not. I decided to get the tightest roller set possible, which was impossible because the stylist that I went to did not have tiny, tiny rollers. And so we went with a rod set, which I absolutely detest rod sets on my hair because of for many, many reasons. But hey, you do what you can. But I wanted it super duper tight so that I could do this. So I'm feigning short hair, and black hair can do that because of a thing called shrinkage. If I pull my hair out, you will see the length. And that's why we always laugh at people that say, oh, black women can't grow long hair. Okay. Whatever you say. I fervently believe that Rapunzel was a black woman, and when he said let down your hair, she pulled out a flat iron. But nevertheless, I digress. All right, so how are you guys doing? Welcome to Teaching Tuesday. If you're over on Facebook, send stars to show your support. I'm going to show my good friend Lynette Beeman, who absolutely is an amazing supporter of this broadcast, and you can see her ad at the end for the vault. Make sure you check her out if you're in East Texas, and if you're not, still check her out because she's got some things that she can ship out and do all the lovely things too. All right, let me make sure. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay? Just making sure. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I assume y'all can hear me because you're looking at me and you're saying things. So, do I sound okay? Just let me know. Drop me a comment or something. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Because when I first went live, I had no sound, so I thought that was really odd. So, all right, so I believe I'm live. Okay, cool. Awesome. And I also know there's a delay, so I have to wait. And I've got like a road curl. I like my hair to be wild, but it's not giving the wild. You see, I gotta pat it in. It's not giving the wild that I was going for. All right, thank you. All right, so today we're going to get into how to know if it's working. How to know if it's working. And before you ask me, well, what is it? It is really what it is to you. Um, I'm going to try to make this relevant for both founders as well as leaders. And so if you're a founder, put founder in the comments. If you're a leader, put leader in the comments. I've got exactly 10 minutes to say something meaningful to you because I got to get off to my next meeting. So there's a good friend of mine that says, there's no right or wrong. Whenever I ask him information, he's like, well, remember, Stephanie, there's no right or wrong. And some of you have heard me say the same thing. There's no right or wrong. There's just outcomes and consequences. That's basically all there is. And if it's right, then if it's right for you, that's the key thing, right? Because what's right for you may not be right for anybody else. And we have to be mindful of that, especially in a world where people are trying to say, well, you got to do things this way. You got to do relationships like this. You got to do your business like this. Here's my 387-step process to 8-figure months. And I'm like, say what? Literally, somebody slid into my DMs and offered me a 33-step process to 8-figure months. And I'm like, the way my ADHD and OCD are set up, you lost me after step like 0.5. So nevertheless, there's no right or wrong, just outcomes and consequences. And if we're mindful of that, then we can start to see things a bit differently as it relates to knowing if something is working or not. I feel like this is one of the biggest concerns of our clients, right? They come to that first meeting and they're like, I don't know if this is working. I don't know if this is the direction I need to go, or better yet, this seems to not be working and I don't know what to do about it. And so I want to kind of get into that. Like I said, I have exactly 9 minutes to say something meaningful. So be a dear, share this out. If you're here live, put live in the comments, all the good things. So I remember a conversation with one of our clients who, over a span of years had invested very heavily in their business. And to them, it had not produced anything. And I kept reminding them, well, that's actually not accurate. That's actually not accurate. And when I get into the other ways for you to know if something is working, right, you'll see why I said that. Hello, hello. I love it when y'all hop on. I get to put you up on there. Hey, East Texas in the house representing. So, but one of the things I want to caution you about is that if you go into this idea of is it working, is it working, is it working, that's a great way, or better yet, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. That's a great way to end up throwing the epitome of pity parties. And I don't know about you, but I don't like being invited to pity parties. Pity parties do not excite me one bit, not from my clients, not from my friends, not from anybody. If we're talking about what's going on, at some point we got to talk about what we're going to do about it. If we're not going to do anything about it, then great. Thank you for the vent session. A vent session is not a pity party. Okay, a pity party is, oh, well, it's me, it's not working. And I'm like, with all that energy that you just put into that, that was energy that you literally could have taken and invested into figuring out what's really going on. But again, if you get into that mindset of, well, this isn't working, simply because you're focused on one outcome, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, that's going to push you into a place where you may not be able to take the lessons from the other places that it could be working, even if it's not working in that one place yet. So let's get into it. I got 7 minutes now. All right, so I'm going to give you 4 signs, and trust me, there are more than this, but because I love alliteration and I wanted to make this meaningful for you, there are 4 absolute signs that I'm going to give you today. If you want to learn more, join me for Unbossed on Thursday. We're going to be talking about how we get over outdated messaging and outdated structures and outdated everything, how we just get over the outdated and really connect to those who will find value in what we do in the world. So if you're interested in that, just put Unbossed in the comments and I'll make sure that you get the details, or float around my profile and you will definitely find the link. All right. So one of the ways to know if it's working, if it's your strategy, if it's your goals, if it's your messaging, if it's the way you're showing up, one way to know that it's working is something I call resonance. And this is what many of you get early on. And sometimes it lulls you into a false sense of, okay, this is all there is. Not necessarily, because you can get resonance. What is resonance, Stephanie? Responses. Sometimes people say, yeah, girl, amen, louder, et cetera, et cetera. You can get resonance from people, and that should be held in high esteem, because resonance is going to show you what's landing. Okay. Resonance is going to show you what's landing. And one of our facilitators at WE360 said it best. Social media is top of funnel. And because it's top of funnel, it gives you the opportunity to say, I'm going to throw this message out there and see how it lands, and see with whom it lands. Because whom it lands with is more important when we begin to look at your audiences and who you're really seeking to serve. Some of you have gotten into situations where you're serving people you don't really want to be serving. All because there was a level of intentionality that your messages didn't have. Remember, where we put intention is where we place attention. If my intention is for this to land with a particular audience, or maybe a particular household income, a particular mindset, where I set the intention, that is where I place attention. And I'm not just haphazardly throwing messages out here saying, oh, well, if anybody, please sub, I have some more. You're not Oliver twisting in the wind, hoping that anybody will buy your good, your product, whatever. Okay. Or even buy into your plan or your strategy, because leaders, you're not immune from wondering if things are working. All right. I got 4 whole minutes. Next thing, reference. Resonance and reference. When people begin to identify you by the work that you do, right? Celebrating the work that you do. I remember when I was very much in a chokehold by way of hashtag Stephisms, I would go to events and people say, hey, Stephisms, hey, Stephisms, hey, Stephisms. And while, yes, I do still love Stephisms immensely, right? That was the construct of reference, right? If you walk in a room and people identify you by the work that you do, the energy that you're putting out into the world, that means that it's working. It's landing for somebody. Again, the question always becomes, who is it landing for? And are those the people you are seeking to serve? But don't let that become a throwaway, because all of these precursors land us in the place where you really want to be. And that is reciprocity and revenue. So we've got resonance, reference, reciprocity, and revenue. Reciprocity is where you're upping the ante. And going back to the client that had spent a vast amount of money on their business, I wasn't working with them then, just working with them now. One of the things they kept saying is that, nobody wants this, it wasn't working, et cetera, et cetera. Only to reflect on the fact that they had amassed an amazing amount of emails. Now, of course, it's an email list. It'll have to be scrubbed and all that good stuff. And email cleaning is a whole thing. But they've amassed emails, which meant reciprocity was present. Somebody was willing to give you their email, even if it was a fake email, right? They took the time to type that thing in and say, you know what? I'm going to put this in to get access to what you have. Reciprocity is awesome. Because when reciprocity is done well, you're now amassing relationships that you can then leverage against other things, against other asks. You're nurturing that relationship. You're bringing that relationship into form. All right. So don't sleep on reciprocity. And some of you are sleeping on reciprocity because you're so busy focused on the revenue. Now, I'll be the first person to tell you I'm obsessed with people, especially if you're Black or brown, marginalized in any way, getting to the green. I'm obsessed with that, right? Because that's the only way that we win. That's the only way that we win, y'all. You can protest till you blue in the face. If you don't disrupt the construct of the system that we are in, aka capitalism, then what are we doing with life? But I'll talk about that later. All right. So don't sleep on reciprocity, because that's your opportunity to build that list, to build those relationships, right? And for my leaders, resonance and reference are amazing. And then, of course, we want that revenue. All right, I got 1 minute to do this. We want revenue. We want people to pay for what we offer. And some of you aren't asking for people to pay. Flat out. You're throwing out all this content. You're throwing out all this freebie, all da. And even in your freebies, you don't have any type of system set up to collect email addresses. So what are we doing with life? If you're really enamored by social media is top of funnel. So that requires a strategy, and posting all the time is not a strategy. I'm very intentional with the way I use social media. Very intentional. If you want to know more about that, make sure that you join me on Thursday. But nevertheless, revenue. Revenue is the ultimate response to, is it working? But sometimes it doesn't work. You just get paid. Now, I don't have time to get into all of that, but what I want you to do is decenter revenue as the sign, as the one sign that is working, because there's so many other steps, especially if you're a new founder or even a new leader, there's so many other things that happen possibly before revenue. And if you're not leveraging those appropriately and well, you could find yourself seeking revenue, diving into face first into a pity party of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, when truthfully, you've got all these other things going for you, and you either need to double down, switch it up, or dare I say, ask. So nevertheless, those are how to know if it's working. If this resonated with you, by all means, drop an emoji, share this out. I got to go to my meeting. It's now 12:30. My name is Stephanie D. McKenzie, fractional brand and marketing leader. All the things, y'all know I love brand, I love learning, I love marketing, I love it all. And if I can serve and support you in any way, I'm happy to do so. Check out the link in my bio, and happy Tuesday.
Have you been on a weight loss journey and the scale just isn't giving you the results you hoped for? Well, meet Thinner. an FDA-registered, all-natural, homeopathic approach that addresses the root causes of how to lose weight and keep it off, especially if hormones are an issue. If you're tired of all of the guesswork and doing it alone, scan the QR code for more info, and let's get you started today.